In accordance with the provisions allowed by
Okay.
Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, the September 1st, 2022 public meeting of the Master Plan Implementation Committee will be held remotely. However, to view this meeting in progress, please go to facebook.com/LakeCAM. You do not need a Facebook account to view the meeting. This meeting will be recorded and available to be reviewed at a later date at LakeCAM.tv. So we'll take and roll call. Rodney Dixon, present.
Rita Garbutt, present.
Joseph Chamberlain, present.
Patrick Marshall, present.
Thank you. Jack, you're on mute.
Jack Lynch, present.
Thank you.
Ari Sky, present.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So we're going to review and vote to approve the meeting minutes for June 21st. Then we're going to review and discuss 2 letters of interest from candidates, specifically Zachary Fay and Barbuto to serve on the Master Plan Implementation Committee. That's the at-large opening. And then schedule the next meeting is scheduled for October 18th, 2022 at 6:30, and then any other business that may properly come before the meeting. So has everyone had the opportunity to review the meeting minutes? And if so, do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes for June 21st, 2022.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, aye. Rodney Dixon, aye.
Rita Garbutt, aye.
Chamberlain, aye.
Jack Lynch, aye. Could take myself.
Marshall abstaining.
Sky, aye.
All right, thank you. Okay, item 2, review and discuss the 2 letters of interest from Zachary Fay and Denise Barbuto to serve on the Master Plan Implementation Committee. Do you have the letters of interest?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So in order of receipt, Zachary sent his in June and Denise in August. I know that there's one position available on the master plan. Procedurally, obviously this is it's a process, but in order of receipt, first come, first serve, it would be Zachary's letter that was received first, of course. So now procedurally, we do we have any questions about either candidate, either letter, contents of the letter, or anything that we should be discussing? Okay.
Are we intending to move forward with the vote even though we haven't met with them?
Well, I would like to have met. They were invited for tonight.
Yeah.
And right now it's 5:06, so there might be a slight delay in their arrival. I would like to talk with them. I'd like for them to meet the board members, or excuse me, the committee members. But it's not necessary that they're here in order for us to make a selection and appoint them.
No, that's true.
We do have their letters of interest, and that's probably the most important. It would be nice if they were here. Do we want to give them a couple of minutes, or would we like to change the order of the agenda?
When we change the order, of the agenda, I would think.
Very short agenda.
What else do we have on the agenda?
Oh, only confirming the next meeting scheduled for October 8th.
Okay.
I mean, should we chat about amongst ourselves about these 2 individuals? I mean, we have their resumes. I mean, Zachary is, needless to say, is a highly qualified gentleman, but I don't think, those skill sets are what we need in our arena. But Denise, I was looking for someone that was, sorry about that, guys. As I looked at Denise's resume, she's the one that's involved in committees and all that. And I think that plays better towards us than all the high-tech skills that Zachary has, but you guys may differ on that opinion.
Well, I could say from my own personal experience, I had 0 qualifications before I joined the committee. Rita, how many years ago now? 16? 17, it's a long time. So I was afforded the opportunity, and then, you know, I think you learn by doing. We weren't always on this committee. We all didn't have the skill sets that we have. The opportunity to gain those skills is through time. I think it's important that, you know, the two individuals are interested in the opportunity. And I think that goes a long way. So if they're interested in doing this and they want to give back, then this is their opportunity. Open for suggestions, open for, you know, comments, conversations, discussion about qualifications. Are there qualifications that are needed for this, absent of the desire to do something for the community?
My first question would be wondering why these people haven't signed in. You would think they would, if they're sufficiently interested to do all the work necessary to give us a resume and send it to us, you would think they'd be showing up. Maybe they're both still at work or something like that, but that's not a hindrance these days. You can phone in from anywhere.
I can speak for one of them only insofar as Denise. Denise, for order of transparency, is not a colleague per se, but is someone that works at the same place that I work. And the position that she holds is one of importance. And so it's entirely possible that she got caught up in something at work. Absent of that, I can't speak.
I mean, I'm willing to cut them some slack, but.
Can I ask Kevin a question? I took our invitation that he emails us, and I just forwarded it to each of their emails. And I know Denise thanked me, and I spoke to both of them in person and told them what I would be doing. So maybe they just.
I mean, I think, you know, Rita, they should at least have the courtesy to email you back. They should at least have the courtesy.
Was that Kevin speaking?
That was me. I think, you know, this is Jack. I think they should have had the courtesy just to email you back, to text you back saying, I'm going to be late. I can't make it. I got this, that, or the other thing. But to go silent.
Well, let's ask Kevin the question, or Jose. Does the hyperlink work if it's forwarded from Rita, or must it originate from LakeCAM in order for it to work?
It should still work.
It still works. Yeah. Still works. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say something? I would just suggest to the committee that if we don't know, if we're in a position where we don't feel comfortable with either one, we have a functional committee. We have a quorum, and then some. I don't know that there is an absolute must need to do kind of aspect of this, that we have to select somebody now sight unseen. You know, I'll defer to the committee on this, but I think it'll be good to at least get to meet them.
I agree.
Can we invite them to the meeting on the 18th?
That was my suggestion. If they weren't going to, it's 11 past right now. If we want to give them a couple of minutes.
Let me call them.
Okay.
I was going to suggest that either
Right, I
Rodney
was
or
going to
Rita
say
give
that
them
too.
a
So
call.
we can call, let's see what's going on. Obviously we wanted to go ahead and talk to them. That's a consensus. So that's absolutely appropriate. See what's going on. And then in worst case scenario is we defer to the 18th, the in-person, and have them on the agenda then.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Zachary's got a pretty impressive resume, but I'm not so sure would benefit us in our role.
I think we have to get to know the individuals. I mean, it's a citizen role. We're going to make sure that they're a good fit for the board group, and that they have the right interest. They understand the role.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
And I think, you know, this is not this is not a social event. This is a sit down working group, and you're here to kind of to me, give back to the town, give back to the community. We get the feeling that's what they want to do, then we make a choice. But
speak for yourself, Jack. I look forward to getting together with you guys. So
as we do you.
Some may consider this a town. It's just fun.
Same here. I mean, I enjoyed meeting you at CVS.
Rita, you are muted, Rita. Do you need to speak?
You're muted, Rita.
You're still muted.
You're still muted. Yeah.
Okay, Zachary didn't answer, but Denise just walked in the door, so she's trying to sign on right now. So I'll
Okay.
text Zachary.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So do we want to just skip the agenda item and then come back once Denise is online and potentially Zachary?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh.
So just to confirm, the next meeting is scheduled for in person, we hope, October 18th at 6:30.
Yep.
At the police station, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other business that may properly come before the meeting?
Well, I was just going to mention, I'm working on updating the master plan chart. Is that her? Yeah.
Denise.
And then I'm supposed to check with Ari. He had some changes to it too. So I'll have
Yeah,
that.
I don't remember what they were now. But
Right. I'm going to watch the meeting again.
I would also suggest, since we'll be heading towards town meeting at that point, that we put on a review of planning and zoning related articles.
And we'll invite Mark.
Yeah, yeah. This is going to be this town meeting is going to be kind of a gangbuster. So.
Yes.
Denise is on.
All right. Welcome,
Hi, Denise. Denise, can you hear us? Denise's audio is connected, but not her video.
Okay.
Hi, Denise. This is Jose Invencio. How are you? Denise, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great.
Hey, Denise, Rodney Dixon, how are you?
Good, Rodney, how are you doing?
Well, I'm well. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I had my visit compliance officer with me all week, so I apologize for being late.
No need. I forewarned the committee about the potential delay based on your position.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we're waiting for the other candidate to sign on. We're not sure if the individual is going to be there. We had just changed the order of the agenda items. So before we jump back to you, Denise, is Rita absent of what you just mentioned, and Ari, is there any other business at this point? One of the things I wanted to I'm not sure if it's appropriate right now or wait until at a later time, but just some of the events that have happened with the hospital property, and also with the LeBaron Estates that happened recently. I'm not sure if that's appropriate for this committee at this point.
I don't know if it's really within the scope of the committee.
What's that?
I don't know if it's really within the scope of the committee, Rodney, but
not the committee per se, but just insofar as the matrix and the actual master plan based on what's been proposed and how it may or may not affect the master plan.
Understood. That's fine. Yeah.
In that context.
So that's probably good to have with Mark in the room. So that'd be a good fit.
Okay. So Mark will be invited for the October meeting. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll defer to that date then. Makes more sense. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So do we want to go ahead and change back to speaking with Denise at this point? Get to know her a little?
Yes.
Okay. So Denise, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you could introduce yourself. We do have your letter of interest. And I did, as a transparency, I did tell them that, you know, you and I work at the same institution. And that's that. So we'll take, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and speak to the letter of interest and kind of the reason why you're here today.
Yeah. I've been in the town of Lakeville a little over 20 years. And my husband was a longtime resident here. He wasn't born here, but he was here much longer than I was, and learned to appreciate the country living and the country life. I am the compliance officer currently, and I used to work in a business office. I've also managed hotels for 6 years. And prior to that, I was in graphic design. So I've had a few careers, but I have dedicated interest in what's going on in town and have been keeping up to date as much as I can for the busy job that I have. And like we've talked many times, Rodney, I like to preserve what we have here instead of seeing the rapid growth. I did live in New Hampshire 6 years, and I saw a beautiful town really monitor how they grew. And I appreciated that, down to the point where if someone wanted to come in and build, they literally had to say how that would affect the roads and the school systems. And if they saw substantial growth in the school systems, they were expected to pay taxes towards that, not the town so much. They were proactive rather than reactive. And in the short time that I've lived in Lakeville, I've seen Graham's closed and opened and added elementary and combined schools. So that concerns me. My children are all grown now, but we do pay taxes on these buildings. And are they empty? Are they active? Are they using it for other purposes? That kind of thing. You know, you see Dewey's restaurant still sitting there next to the old hospital. A lot of vacant spots, the spot where the A-frame restaurant used to be. And yet we're clearing woods to put other things up. And other things that I think of. Does anyone have any questions?
No, I appreciate people being interested in serving on different boards and committees. So thank you for submitting your letter of interest.
Thank you.
Jack, do you have any questions, or Patrick, Ari?
Hey, Denise, where were the hotels you worked in?
I did 3 years in New Mexico, in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And I did 3 years in Colorado at the airport locations.
Oh, yeah.
The company that had me managing in Albuquerque asked me if I was interested in moving to Colorado for a brand new hotel there.
Good.
And I was eager to take it.
Great. Great. What position did you have in those hotels?
I was the manager.
Okay, great.
And I oversaw housekeeping, maintenance, front desk,
Sure.
Landscaping.
Yep. Put in a ton of hours.
Yes, I realized quickly that it was not the life for a young family. And I eventually went to DOD and then transferred out here.
I know all about it.
Yep.
Been there, done that.
Oh, good. Then we'd have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Zachary has not gotten back to me, Rodney.
Okay.
So I have something. It's not so much a question as a comment.
Ari, could you introduce yourself to Denise?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Denise. I'm Ari Sky. I'm the town administrator. It's good to meet you. What I thought might be helpful, Ronnie, unless you want to do this, was kind of give a little summary of how our committee operates and what it does, and just so these fully understands how we handle things and we do. I think we're a pretty apolitical committee. We focus on our focus is to ensure that the master plan, which was developed through a public process and so on, is implemented in an efficient and effective manner. We do some liaison work with other town bodies and so on as needed to move things along. But really, it's kind of a soft power committee that and guys, interrupt from talking crazy right now. And it's kind of a soft power committee whose role is to sort of cajole and convince and track and report back to the select board and other boards about issues that we've identified. So we don't meet super often. I think we meet often enough, probably every quarter or so. And the role's changed a bit since the town hired its first town planner when did Mark start? Late last year. And we worked very closely with him to kind of help to perhaps and help us along. I think the committee is really helpful when it comes to things like town meeting time, where we have we usually have a suite of articles that many of which are items that the master plan had envisioned being done, and we're useful evangelists for that as well. So I just want to pass on and make sure that that's interests you. That's how you understood the committee, and give everybody else a chance to kind of weigh in case I'm just totally off.
No, I appreciate that. Rodney, yep, Rodney has gone over a lot of that. I understand we're not the gangbusters committee that go in and fight for the town. Like I said, I have a vested interest.
Right.
I have a lot of land. I like to preserve what I have here.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions or observations, comments for Denise?
I'm good.
I'm good. I agree with Rita and glad for Denise's interest in the committee and just the interest that she has for it.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay.
Do we have a recommendation as part of the agenda? I'm just looking here.
There's no recommendation on the
Okay.
agenda.
No.
It was to review and discuss the letters
Okay.
and to invite the candidates to observe and then question, and which obviously right now we've got one. Hold on, we got something in the chat box here. Can you get Denise's video on? Denise, do you have video capability or?
I think so. Let me look. It says Zoom is unable to detect a camera. I thought I had it on, but I could try better for the next time. But
so the
I'm trying to start the video and it won't let me.
Yeah, that's okay. The next committee meeting is actually in person.
Oh, great.
On October 18th at 6:30 at the police station.
So if we don't have a selection or recommendation on the agenda, do we have the? I don't think we have the ability to forward a request onto the board.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Fine.
My error.
Sorry?
That would be my error.
I'm not doing the gotcha, Rita. Don't worry. I'm just trying to clarify. That's all.
Yeah, it's all good. No, we'd just rather be accurate in what we do than, obviously to rush it. So
yeah.
We've gone this long and we can go, another 6 weeks. So that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll have the updated chart for them to look at too.
Yeah, perfect.
Excuse me.
I'm comfortable, Mr. Chairman. I don't think we have any other business.
No other business at this time. If all things considered equal, we've gone through all the agenda items. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved, Patrick.
Excellent. Seconded by Jack Lynch. All in favor, aye. Rodney Dixon, aye.
Rita Garbutt, aye.
Chamberlain, aye.
Jack Lynch, aye.
Marshall, aye.
Sky, aye.
All right. Okay, well, thank you all very much.